Welcome to Comedy Global. Defense preparation has increased during Modi's 8 years in power, but the military must now begin to strike hard. I'm Anjana, and let's know more about this information. From a poor shape of India's combat preparedness, as asserted by former Army Chief General V.K. Singh, to serious shortfalls admitted by the Parliamentary Standing Committee in 2012, India's armed forces have gone a long way. Over the previous 8 years, the Narendra Modi government has prioritized defense and military issues, and there is little to no doubt that the three services, Army, Navy, and Air Force, are better equipped and prepared to wage a conventional war than they were in 2014. The Modi government has made numerous major purchases that had been on hold for years, while also promoting Atmanirbharata in the defense sector. The Modi government has pushed for better weaponry, whether it's the modern Singh 716 rifles from the infantry, the Rafale jets from the Air Force, the Chinook heavy lift and Apache assault helicopters, or the Russian S-400 air defense system. The K-9 Vajra cannons, which have increased artillery firepower, are among the major indigenous procurement, as is the push for nuclear and conventional missile capabilities. The government has also enhanced the financial authority given to the service headquarters to make purchases as needed without having to go through the lengthy and inefficient procurement process. The administration also implemented the most significant change in decades, creating the position of Chief of Defense Staff, CDS, to lead a unified military force rather than various services operating in silos. However, many of the purchases highlight the government's fragmented approach. These may have improved the armed forces' capabilities, but they are still in need for more. Standalone military reforms have been conceptualized under the Modi government, but for inexplicable reasons have not been executed, said retired Army Commander Lieutenant General H.S. Panag for the print. What has actually helped the armed forces is that they are no longer stuck in a decision-making rut that had plunged them. The military was still highly reliant on technologies bought in the 1980s and before until Modi took power in 2014. Major acquisition programs including combat helicopters, new submarines, fighter aircraft, and howitzers are still in the pipeline. As a result, the Modi government's decision to order Chinooks, Apaches, and Romeos was a positive move. Despite the best efforts, the numbers were simply too little. The Army's acquisition of 6 Apache helicopters is like to find a needle in a haystack. In an ideal world, the IAF's 22 Apaches and the 6 new Apaches purchased for the men in olives should have been combined and delivered to the Army alone. Though the light combat helicopter is an option, it is not in the same class as the Apaches. And while we are at it, larger orders for indigenous attack helicopters must be placed. 15 is an insufficient number. The Cabinet Committee on Security has approved the purchase of 15 light combat helicopter limited services production helicopters for a total cost of rupees 3,887 crore, as well as infrastructure sanctions of rupees 377 crore. Boeing, the manufacturer of the Apache and Chinook helicopters, is in talks with the military to supply more helicopters, something that should have been done years ago. A similar tale may be said about the Rafale. The IAF was looking at 126 such fighters for over a decade, but had to be content with just 36. The IAF is still in critical need of 114 new aircraft, for which a tender has been issued. Rather than being distracted by the Rafale deal dispute, the Modi government should move rapidly to decide on new fighter jets for the Air Force. For an armed force the size of India's, such fragmented deals don't work. Firm decisions must be made, and projects such as the development of new aircraft or submarines for the Navy cannot be postponed. The forces are undergoing a multi-billion-dollar modernization program that includes new fighters, submarines, aircraft carriers, mid-air refuelers, tanks, armed unmanned aerial vehicles, howitzers, assault rifles and helicopters. As a result, the government will need to be tough in its decision regarding larger orders. Even on the policy front, there are signs of judgment lethargy as seen by the non-appointment of a new CDS for more than 6 months. The government should have made a choice within a week of CDS Bipin Rawat's death because the vacancy jeopardizes the continuation of reforms, particularly the creation of theatre commands. A national security strategy was also expected to be released by the administration. However, it has been delayed since 2018. The other point is that nothing happens overnight, and the Modi government does not have a magic wand with which to transform things. However, it is also true that Modi has been in power for 8 years. While defense readiness has increased, India's military still lacks the ability to strike forcefully. This has to change quickly. This is Anjana signing off. Do like and share this video. For further updates, subscribe to Comedy Global.